Did you notice a lot of people wearing red yesterday? Well, that's because Friday was National Wear Red Day to spread awareness about heart disease. The Brooklyn Hospital Center spent the day educating staff and patients about the disease by offering free BMI and blood pressure tests, as well as tips on how to stay heart healthy. A Brooklyn native is sworn in as the first woman head of the U.S. Federal Reserve Bank. A senior citizen is killed by a backhoe during this week's wicked winter weather. And embattled State Senator John Sampson is facing a new charge, accused of lying to the FBI. Here's Kevin McCabe with your Weekly Chronicle. Well, the 2014 Winter Olympics kicked off yesterday in Sochi, Russia, and reports say it is the most expensive Winter Olympics in history. So we hit the streets of Park Slope to see if all that money is even worth it, asking Brooklynites which events, if any, they're most looking forward to watching. Embattled Yankees third baseman Alex Rodriguez is no longer suing Major League Baseball Commissioner Bud Selig and the Major League Baseball Players Association, all a sign that Rodriguez may be prepared to accept his penalty. A-Rod was suspended for 211 games back on August 5th for violating baseball's drug agreement and labor contract. He immediately appealed the suspension, which allowed him to finish the 2013 season. Last month, arbitrator Frederick Horowitz reduced A-Rod's suspension to 162 games, a full baseball season, and any 2014 postseason games. 2 days later, Rodriguez sued MLB, the commissioner, and in a very controversial move, also filed suit against the Players Association. The notices to dismiss the lawsuits were filed on Friday in federal court in Manhattan. In response, Major League Baseball has issued the following statement, quote, "We've been informed that Alex Rodriguez has reached the prudent decision to end all of the litigation related to the biogenesis matter. We believe that Mr. Rodriguez's actions show his desire to return the focus to the play of our great game on the field and to all the positive attributes and actions of his fellow Major League players. We share that desire." I'm Alicia Laventure. This is News 12 Brooklyn. We've got more hyperlocal news and weather coming up in just 2 minutes, so stick around. We begin with an overnight fire in a Brighton Beach apartment building that leaves an 82-year-old woman dead and leaves another person injured. News 12's John Diaz has been on the scene all day and has the latest from 3111 Brighton 7th Street as investigators try to figure out what caused this blaze. A nurse is critically injured after a patient at Brookdale Hospital attacks her last night. Police tell us the patient left the 70-year-old hospital employee with very serious injuries. Police are here piecing the circumstances together, but they do have Jones in custody. We reached out to Brookdale Hospital administration for comment. Their VP of External Affairs tells us, quote, "We are cooperating fully with law enforcement to aid them in their investigation. Our thoughts and prayers are with the employee and her family." Details on this assault are still coming in, so be sure to stay with News 12 for more on the NYPD's investigation and for the latest on the victim's condition. Turning now to your 12 on Crime report, an arrest has been made in the Christmas Eve fatal shooting of 17-year-old Joaquin English. Police say 17-year-old Jerome Leslie is charged with murder and criminal possession of a weapon. Authorities have been searching for English's killer since the teen was found shot to death at 3144 Bayview Avenue back on December 24th last year. I'm Alicia Laventure. You're watching News 12 Brooklyn. Coming up, Samantha Ajiri has another check of your hyperlocal forecast in just 2 minutes. Stay tuned. Authorities are searching for the driver in a fatal hit-and-run accident that happened yesterday afternoon. Police say just after 3 p.m., an unidentified man was struck at the corner of Atlantic Avenue and Williams Place while walking alongside a parked truck. As the man passed the driver's side door, the truck pulled out from the parking spot and hit the victim. Police say the vehicle then left the scene. The man was taken to Brookdale Hospital where he was pronounced dead. Investigators described the truck as a 3-axle flatbed truck with a dark-colored cab. Well, 1 year later, the family of a 19-year-old who was stabbed to death is still looking for answers. Jonathan Lazu's family held a ceremony yesterday to remember the teen. On February 17th of last year, police discovered Lazu's body bearing multiple stab wounds at 220 Sidham Street in Bushwick, not far from his home on Madison Avenue. Police tell us they have no leads in the case, and the family says there are still so many questions that have yet to be answered. Lazu's aunt says the ordeal has been extremely difficult for his mother.
She can't concentrate herself on anything because she's always having her son on her mind. And the fact that no justice has been, taken from him, done for him.
I loved him a lot. I miss him a lot. And I wish that a person who did this would pay.
The family has been hanging these posters around the area where police found him since his death, hoping someone will come forward with information. Crime Stoppers is offering a $2,000 reward for tips leading to a conviction. The NYPD may be the newest users of Google Glass, those high-tech glasses with a tiny computer connected to the side. According to Deputy Commissioner Stephen Davis, officers have been evaluating the new technology to see if there are any useful ways to use them within the force. They haven't been used in the field, but instead merely tested to determine their usefulness. 12 is on politics now, as Mayor Bill de Blasio is hard at work preparing for the State of the City address. His office posted this behind-the-scenes video of his prep work. The mayor will deliver his very first address on Monday, and News 12, of course, will be carrying it live. In Washington, a rare compromise takes place as President Obama signs the bipartisan farm bill. The legislation signed yesterday provides subsidies to farmers and funds food stamp programs. The president also unveiled an initiative to help connect rural businesses with federal resources so those business owners can sell their products and services abroad. The Treasury Secretary issued a new warning on the debt ceiling Friday. Jack Lew told congressional leaders the Treasury could run out of money to pay the country's bills if lawmakers fail to raise or suspend the debt ceiling by February 27th. These bills include everything from issuing Social Security checks to making payroll for military personnel. Lew is now urging Congress to act quickly to provide certainty to the economy and financial markets. According to a CNN ORC poll released yesterday, a majority of Americans think the Republican Party is out of touch with women. 55% of Americans surveyed say the GOP just doesn't understand the problems and concerns of women. Among women only, that number jumps to 59%. Nearly 2/3 of those surveyed said Democrats were in touch with women's issues. So this brings us to our question of the day. Who do you think is more out of touch when it comes to women's issues in Congress? You can weigh in at news12.com or channel 612 on Optimum TV. I'm Alicia Lavenger. This is News 12 Brooklyn. After the break, we'll show you how Americans are showing their support for heart disease treatment just by adding a little bit of color to the wardrobe. Stay tuned.